All praises to Yahawah, bahasham Yahawashi, bahasham Rucha Kodash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well and labor in the word and doctrine. Shalom, meaning peace. May that be unto the elect of the nation of Israel. Now, just gonna a quick hit. I always say that ends up being half an hour, but for real, I'll try and keep it brief and to the point. Titus 2 and verse 6. We start from. Young men likewise exhort to be sober-minded. Now let's check this word here. Now, let's get into the word, and I'll say to give a righteous balance on this thing here. This one, let's hear it.
993, Sophroneo.
So that's the Strong's G, 4993. Okay, just because I cut off at the start. Right now, this, to give a righteous balance to it, it says to be of sound mind, to be in one's right mind, to exercise self-control, to put a moderate estimate upon oneself, think of oneself soberly, to curb one's passions. Right, so to get into this, to be of sound mind, it means to have the doctrine right. Right, to be in one's right mind. Yeah, to be sound mind, just like is to speak and to operate within sound doctrine, right? The parameters of that. Now, if you want to talk about it in a literal sense, to be sober, we understand it today in the seclorum. Yeah, you're not going to be 3 bottles down at camp. Yeah, you're not going to finish 3 wine bottles to the point you can't coherently structure a sentence together. Yeah, you might get aggressive, you might get confused, you might act foolish. So to put a balance on it, that's part of having the sound doctrine. Because if you've got sound doctrine, turning up when you're meant to teach and be, don't get me wrong, again, to put the balance on it, you're allowed to drink, right? You're allowed to drink wine or strong drink, whatever you want. Yeah, within reason, of course. Jake makes some fucking cocaine infused tea. You said whatever, brother. Yeah, within reason, man. You're allowed to drink alcohol, strong drink wine. But at the same time, just as it talks about the Babylonian wine, it'll tell you about how that will have a man staggering if we get that in Habakkuk. Like I said, I'll try and keep it brief, but really, if the Spirit permits. Habakkuk 2 and verse 5 said, Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. I was talking about he transgressed by wine. Now, he's not transgressing by having literal wine. Yeah, he's not going off to have literal wine. But how he's transgressing is by the wine. If you just search wine, Babylon, because he's the one that pushes out that wine. Now, ultimately, the wine did come from Assyria, Babylon, in terms of certain philosophies. Now, let me not confuse things. The wine it's talking about is out of Mystery Babylon, North America, so-called United States. Now, of their wine, there's many different ingredients, right? So you've got parabot, to put it in like symbolic terms. They got a grape from Babylon, they got a grape from Assyria, they got a few grapes from Greece, they got a few grapes from this place, from that place, Rome, so on and so forth, and they've mixed it all up together and made their own, quote unquote, made their own doctrine. All right, but ultimately, who did it come from? It came from the kingdoms that had come before them, man. So although it's Babylonian wine and it's out of Babylon, there were other empires and kingdoms that put the pieces together. All he really did, he took the assignment and dashed his name up on top of it. Yeah, and he's getting full marks for being the devil. Right, we always have to give him that credit. So Isaiah 51 and 7, it says, Babylon hath been a golden cup in Yahweh's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations are drunken of a wine, therefore the nations are mad. Right, so the nations are drunk of the wine, going into the philosophy, the doctrine. So, although it talks about being sober, it's talking about that wine. sorry, although it says sober, and we'll think of literal wine, you have to understand that the scriptures, they speak in dark sayings and parables, and you have to learn when to discern, one from another, and that's called righteous discrimination, a righteous discernment. You're not gonna, well, I hope you're not gonna choose a blind man to be a pilot or to be a taxi driver. If you were running them firms, you wouldn't. It's not because you hate blind people. It's not because you hate someone that can't see. It's because logistically, he's not the best man for the job. So you have to be able to discern. Now, is this definition the right application here? You have to be able to discern that, and that all goes into, showing yourself and being sober-minded, being able to rightly divide the word of truth. Now, you can't divide the word of truth incorrectly and say, yeah, that's sound, that's sober, and that's good doctrine, because that'd be going off. So similarly here, so Titus 2:6, young men likewise exhort to be sober-minded, in all things shewing thyself a pattern of good works in doctrine, shewing uncorruptness, gravity, sincerity. So uncorruptness, let's look at that. So a pattern of good works, man, not just I made a video this 1 year, and then I took 3 years off, then I made another one this year. And everyone's got their own amount that they were given, right? I'm not expecting someone to put up 7 videos, everyone to put up 7 videos a day. Now, there might be a certain brother from a certain camp that's able to do that, and that's fucking amazing, man. We would applaud that. We're not hating on it and saying, oh, well, this, and that. You'd encourage that brother. But if a brother's not up to doing that, you can't really rebuke them. You say, do as much as you're able. Because it's ultimately by the Spirit. Elder Apostle Gabar, I remember it stuck with me. I'm saying, I'm not gonna do a video if the Spirit's not on me to make a video. All right, and it's true. All things, like it says, Wisdom of Solomon 12:1, I believe it is, says that for thine incorruptible spirit is in all things. So you can apply that to the point that, yes. And now again, a righteous balance. So you have to be sober with it. You can't say, oh well, not everyone's on the same thing. This brother did one video. He's meant to be a teacher. He did one video and then took 3 months off, and then came back, and this guy's meant to be on fire. What are you doing? If you say you might be teaching, you might not film it, but say he's not done anything, he's not done any videos, any ministry for 3, 4, 5, 6 months, and he's meant to be this teacher. What the fuck are you doing, man? So you always have to use balance and use, again, that righteous discernment to be able to say that. And you can't be over righteous with it. Trying to make 10 videos a day every single fucking day. Whew. If you can do it, well done. But use balance. Balance. Let's look at this word incorruptible. Or uncorruptness. Salaki. Right, listen.
Strong's G90. Adiapharia. Thayer's Lexicon. Okay. Second entry. Apharia.
Okay. It says it comes from theoro, which means to corrupt, to destroy. So it's obviously the opposite of that. In the opinion of the Jews, the temple was corrupted or destroyed when anyone defiled or in the slightest degree damaged anything in it, if its guardians neglected their duties. Now you see it says, well, anyone in the slightest degree. Now what do we say? We say that about the doctrine. A little leaven leaveneth the whole lump. If you start talking, you're preaching, you're bringing it out. Ezekiel 37, you're going into this, how there were 2 different nations. And you say, yeah, so the nation of Israel, Judah coming back together, and the Gentiles, also them non-Israelites. Then you just fucked it all up. All the good work that you've just done, you completely mash up, man. You mash up and clout up. You can't be doing them things there, man. It says to lead away a Christian church from that state of knowledge and holiness in which it ought to abide, to be destroyed, to perish, in an ethical sense, to corrupt, deprave. So that was the antonym. Now how you have a synonym. So there's SYN or SYM, meaning to be, to come together. No, hold on. Let's just fact check that. Synonym with, like synergy with, I believe it means. Yeah, there it is. Together with, jointly alike, at the same. And then anti, because I was thinking of con. Yeah, con or com is more the Latin root, and syn, sym is the Greek root. Right. So it's and then you've got anti. So the antonym, the name or the word that is the opposite of. The synonym is together word, same. So that was the opposite of that. So we're meant to be opposite of corrupt. Let's see if we can get the word for pattern as well, typos, which you should really be familiar with.
Strong's G 5179, tupos.
Tupos, the mark of a stroke or blow, print, a figure formed by a blow or impression. So you're meant to whack out these videos so much that he feels like he's got a dent in his what's the term? A thorn in his side. Yeah, he's meant to feel that impact. The same way, on the right hand side, the hopeful elect are meant to feel, oh, that guy's known for putting up videos. Oh, whenever I see an upload from this channel, I know it's gonna be fucking fire. These are the sort of that's what he means by a pattern, a type. If you say a typeset or this type of this, it's the same word, typos, right? So basically, mushing so much work that you're famed for that. Of a figure or image, of the image of the God's form, the teaching which embodies the sum and substance of religion, and represents it to the mind, manner of writing. Some of these we're just gonna have to ignore. In a doctrinal sense of a type, a person or thing prefiguring a future messianic person or thing. So really the type that we should be is just like Hamashiach, right, which was known for standing up on the Sabbath day to read or to preach in the synagogue. He was known for not seeking out conflict, but when conflict came to him, he wouldn't cower from it in terms of, oh, you do your doctrine over there, we're all Israel. He wasn't on that shit. He was, no, that's not the doctrine. Oh, you're a hypocrite, man. Yeah, you're a fucking hypocrite. Obviously he didn't say fucking, but that fiery spirit when necessary. Not all the time was he walking around rebuking when there was nothing to rebuke. So you got to be balanced with it, and at the same time not being a pushover when there is something worthy to rebuke. So we're all trying to get to that type level. None of us in this flesh are perfect, but we're striving for that spirit to be. So just a few verses from Titus, to think on, man. Titus 2:6. Young men likewise exhort to be sober-minded, in all things shewing thyself a pattern of good works, in doctrine shewing uncorruptness, gravity, sincerity, sound speech that cannot be condemned, that he that is of the contrary part may be ashamed, having no evil thing to say of you. To the point where your opposition, they're sort of ashamed to even be your opposition, because you're not doing anything wrong. You can point at it, well, this guy did this, so that's why. Well, when you're not doing anything wrong, not being unnecessarily this, unnecessarily that, then there's nothing. And like it says in Romans 12, living peaceably with all men, or if it be possible, as much as lieth. If it be possible, as much as lieth with you, be at peace with all men. Paraphrasing, of course. And that goes for all the other nations as well. Trying to be in peace with them. So all things, there's a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. Alright, so Shalom. I pray it's edifying, exhorting. On to the next one, Lord willing. All praises to Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi, bahasham, racha, kodash. Shalom.